Now we review Scream 6. How many of the Scream movies have we reviewed? Gonna have to look that up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard. This is Random Street Theater, and I have just seen Scream 6. Yes. There's a number of legacy characters. They're in New York, and Ghostface is back. Before I get into that, let me, of course, point out that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash to the ocean every time I do that. Comment, like, and subscribe. I will make your world better. Anyway, so, again, like most horror movies, Scream gets hokier every time they make one, because some dingus has got to be, gee, I'm somehow connected with the Ghostface killer. Let me become a Ghostface killer and start killing people. Okay. And it's, of course, extremely unrealistic, because there are scenes in this movie where it's like, okay, the dude's there with the knife, and he's killing your friend, and you're screaming, as opposed to grabbing the nearest object and beating the flaming crap out of him. Which, I mean, like, there's 4 of you. Bum rush the dude, take his knife, and slit his throat. That's what you should be doing. And, I mean, there are ways to get around this, but, you know, they're never, I mean, it's like, look, he could be on PCP or something. He's a killer. Why not? Why not do drugs? That might be part of subtext, but, I mean, I never see it in the film. So, anyway, there is that. That's my biggest complaint with the entire Scream series. I am not entirely against the idea that people would go insane and start killing people if people they care about are murdered. Itch your nose. But my big thing is, like, you know, Ghostface is always just a person. They're not dangerous to me. It's not like Jason Voorhees, where I could, you know, hit him with an axe and he keeps coming at me. It's just a person where, you know, like, if you shoot him, even if he's wearing a vest, if you have a decent firearm, he's still not going to be 100%. I mean, it's just one of those things. You know, a firearm can do damage to a bulletproof vest, and once the bulletproof vest has been struck, it doesn't work as well anymore. So this is one of those things that you have to point out. It's like, look, you've been in this situation before. You'd be taking self-defense classes. If you're buying a gun, you're getting either a 38 Special or a 38 Magnum. Well, 38 Special is actually does appear in this movie. But you're either getting a 38 Magnum for stopping power or a 45. And I mean, that's just what you would be getting. You might go out there and get yourself a 22 for practicing reasons, but, you know, when you start putting holes in things, you want those holes to be big enough so it's like, ah, Sydney, I'm wearing a vest. Yeah, but I've got a 45. You're going down. Anyway, so we're taking all that and we're setting it aside, and we're indulging in the movie logic. Now, look, slasher films are inherently Freudian. Okay? And it's, again, there are certain things that should be in these slasher films. There are some Freudian moments, and there are your hot babes bouncing about, but I don't remember there being a nude scene. There may have been one, I just don't remember it. I mean, sometimes they're blinking, you miss it, right? But there is none of that, so that's missing. But I mean, you know, the whole act of stabbing people, the act of penetration, is Freudian by its nature. You can't screw this person, so you're penetrating them in another way. And that is very well done in this movie, in that Ghostface can be, some of these kills are very brutal. Okay, Ghostface is just going off there. Whoever's wearing the mask is going crazy in this particular case. And, again, were it not for the fact that, you know, if this were real life, these people would have a police escort, because they're, you know, one, under surveillance, and two, Ghostface is coming after them. You know, it would make more sense that this movie happens the way it happens. But that's neither here nor there. Now, look, if you are a fan of this series, this movie is made for you. There is a lot of nostalgia. There are props from previous films. There is callbacks, and I think they name every previous Ghostface killer. And they talk about Dewey, and they talk about all these things that happened in the other movies. Personally, I don't remember the other movies that well. I'm not sure I saw them all. I know I saw the first one, and I'm pretty sure I saw 5, because I reviewed it, but I think I only saw parts of some of the other films. So this stuff is kind of a little lost to me, you know. Again, when the killer is revealed, it makes perfect sense. The reveal is like, okay, you know, it had to be one of these particular people because of what's happening here with evidence. So that makes sense. And they're doing a few things that are a little like, okay, you know, this is a little too elaborate to be realistic, but, you know, these are reveals, okay? There are better ways to make these things sort of happen, and they make a lot more sense, but, you know, you're a horror movie person, you like reveals. This is a thing. There are callbacks to every Scream movie ever made. So yeah, if you're a Scream fan, you're going to love this movie. If you're a general slasher fan, you probably will not like it as much. If Scream is something you're like, yeah, I like Scream because it's a slasher film, but I'm not like a Screamiac, then you're going to be like, okay, it's a slasher film. And, you know, beyond that, if you're not into horror movies, you're just going to be bored. So again, this film, it does belong on your watch list. The acting is excellent. The characters are pretty solidly defined. Much better than the previous film, I thought, because I remember looking at the last film going, who the heck is that person again? But I mean, the two sisters, who are the kind of core of this, again, the problem is that they look like sisters, and neither of them have gotten a terribly distinct quality about them, but their height difference is shown off a lot, so you understand, okay, you know, they're sisters, but they're clearly a different person. I can figure out which one's which. There's the stronger one who is aggressive and protecting, and there is the shorter one who is trying to put this whole thing behind her. I mean, it would be great if, excuse me, one of them had like a distinctive hairpiece or something, or if they didn't dress exactly the same, but, you know, it's still fun to see them run. That's what this movie is about. Hot chicks running and people getting stabbed. So yeah, it fulfills that need. I mean, you know, I personally feel that these movies have just gotten too soft, as well as most horror movies have gotten a little too soft, but that's because of the whole R-rated barrier thing, and, you know, that's just my opinion. So yeah, put this in about the middle of your watch list. It is a fun film, it is worth watching, it's not perfect, but what is? You know, I would recommend you see this film in theaters as well, because that would probably enhance the experience. Past that, well, that's just my opinion. And I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I, of course, am Richard. Randall the Rat here once again. And I'm here to remind you humans to comment, like, and subscribe. And you know why? Well, have you watched the news? Mother Nature is pissed! And we can help.
Because each one of these necklaces I'm wearing, it's a medal from the Conqueror. And in addition to being awesome bling, each one of them represents 5 trees. 5 glorious trees that the owner of this channel has had planted. I'm wearing 5 of these, so I've got 25 trees around my neck. 25 of the more than 100 that have been planted so far. So if you want to do your part to unpiss off Mother Nature, listen to old Randall here, and comment, like, and subscribe. Or, of course, I could just eat your face and make there be less humans to pollute the environment. Global warming sucks, and you're delicious.